This will be for the Khan Academy exercise, basic derivative rules table. All right, some brief notes. Let's say you have a constant c multiplied by the function f of x. The derivative of c times f of x is just going to equal c times f prime of x. So if you want to find the derivative of this, you just keep the constant number c and take the derivative of the function and then multiply that function times that same constant. So you'll see what I mean in the write-up, in the exercise. All right, so the table lists the value of the functions f and h and their derivatives f prime and h prime for x equals 4. And they want us to evaluate the derivative at x equals 4. So really, the values in this table here are for x equals 4. All right, so these numbers down here, this is really supposed to be f of 4, and this is h of 4, and so on. Okay, so I don't really like the way they wrote this, but we're clearly plugging in x equals 4 to get these other values here. Now, we want to take the derivative of this function. So we said for a polynomial, you can just distribute. So it's going to be the derivative of 2 times f of x. All right, we said in the write-up, you can just keep the constant, which is 2. And f of x is going to become f prime of x. All right, the derivative of positive 2 times h of x, that's going to be positive 2 times h prime of x. And then finally, the derivative of negative 3, well, the derivative of a constant is just 0. You can write plus 0 if you want, but it's just going to be 0. All right, and now we can just use the table for x equals 4, which we were given. All right, so we have 2, and the one for f prime of x, which is right here, that's 0. So it's going to be 2 times 0. That's plus 2. And the one for h prime of x, that's given right here, that's 6. So it's 2 times 6. And plus 0, we can leave that off. 2 times 0 is just 0. Positive 2 times 6 is 12. Final answer. All right, these problems are all very similar. Here they give us a table for x equals negative 2. And they want us to find f prime of negative 2. So let's see here. We can clearly see that they gave us the table for x equals negative 2. We have this function here. We have to find f prime, the derivative. Okay, so f prime of x, we need to take the derivative of each of these terms individually. All right, I'll write it out just for now. Let me make some more room here. All right, so for f prime of x, you want to find the derivative of each term. So that's going to be the derivative with respect to x. And we have 6 times g of x plus 2 times h of x minus 1. All right, and that derivative gets applied to each term. So the derivative of 6 times g of x, well, we said in the beginning notes, you keep the constant term 6, and you multiply by the derivative of g of x, so that's going to be g prime of x plus, and same thing here, 2 times h of x, well, we keep the constant term 2, and we multiply that by the derivative of h of x, so that's going to be h prime of x. All right, the derivative of the constant term, -1, that's just 0. All right, we said the derivative of a constant is 0. So we basically just took the derivative of each term in the polynomial individually. Okay, and now we can sub in here. We have our 6, g prime of x. Well, that's right here. That's a 2. All right, so it's going to be 6 times 2 plus 2 times. When h prime of x, go to the table. That's right here. That's an 8. All right, and we have this plus 0. We can leave that off. And this is going to be 6 times 2, which is 12. 2 times 8 is 16. And of course, 12 plus 16 is going to give us 28. Final answer.